All right, so this is for all of my students who are in person doing their test flights and want a little help putting together their projects. So in class, you're provided with a few things. I've got a bunch of straws laying around, so you've got that, and we've got paper for you to cut your airfoils out of. I've got some that are pre-cut. Otherwise, you can just cut your own out of the normal paper that we've got up front. Okay, so you're going to be building yours with a straw as the actual firing mechanism for the straw jet. Because of COVID, we're not going to have you blowing air through straws or anything like that. We're actually going to use our air rocket launcher, which allows us to fire these without spreading any germs or anything like that, because you're going to be sanitizing your hands as you go. So to build this, what you're going to do is you're going to grab yourself a straw, and you only need about half of the straw. So you can take a pair of scissors, either in half or a little bit longer. I'm just going to cut it roughly in half. Notice I didn't measure, I just looked at it roughly half. Okay. So let's take a look at what we do from here on. So we've got our half a straw, and we've got some airfoils. I've got a couple of different versions. Here's some cardstock ones. I'm going to use these today. So what you do is you design your airfoils. I'm just going to go real simple. I'm going to build a couple of symmetrical airfoils. And it is one of those things where it's up to you to decide which one's going to give your jet the best chance of success. Okay. You've seen the launching pad and what you have to do. So you know that. This is very similar to when we did activity 1-1 and we worked on our gliders. So you have a starting point and a target, and that's what you're going to try and do. So I'm going to go ahead and just add some tape to the back of these. And look, I've got two roughly symmetrical airfoils. Okay, they're the same size, which is one of the big things. Now we've got our straw, our fuselage. And the first thing we have to do is we actually have to seal this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch the end of the straw a few times, because what I want to do is I want to kind of get it starting to think that it's going to be flat, because that's going to help you in the long run. And I'm going to grab a little piece of tape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay that across there, and I'm going to fold this over as tight as I can so that it seals that end. Okay, because that's what we want, is a sealed end. And if yours is giving you problems, you can always add another extra little piece of tape if you need to, but that's up to you. It depends on what your straw is doing and how it's reacting to the tape. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and add another piece just because I want this to stay together for our demonstration. So we've got our sealed straw end, our open body fuselage, and our airfoils that we're going to attach. So now you just need to attach these. So what's the best way to do it? Well, that's up to you to figure out. Okay. I've tried a few different ways. Some of them work better than others, but it's going to be up to you to figure out what works best for your particular design. So for this one, what I'm going to try and do this time, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to kind of wrap my tape across the top there. I'm going to lay it next to this right here. And I'm going to put my next airfoil on so that they match. I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to wrap it so that my tape actually goes inside my wings there. Okay. Now, the problem is it doesn't like to sort of stay attached, especially with this particular kind of tape. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add a little extra attachments to the underside. And so I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go maybe here at the back and try and tape those together as well. And there we go. That's actually holding on really well now. Okay, and that's kind of what we want. And I'm going to grab and just do another tiny little piece of tape, just to sort of attach right across the top. Okay, so there we go. We have our straw jet. You've got some sort of airfoils. Like I said, I just did quick symmetrical ones, but you may want to do a high camber airfoils. You may want to do slightly asymmetrical. It's up to you to figure out what you want to do to make this work. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take this and we're going to go and we're going to use it on the launcher. And I'm going to show you how to use the launcher right now. All right, so this is the air rocket launcher. It's going to be set up in the front of the classroom with a target range downwind. So let's talk about what this is and what it does. So this is a standard air rocket launcher. You've got a pressure tube up here at the top, and this white beam moves up and down. That's what's going to create your air pressure. You've got a launch angle indicator with markings that tell you what angle you're at. And you've got this little nozzle, which is actually what connects it. Now, what's here at the end is actually a quick 3D printed adapter that's going to let you take your jet and attach it. So let's see how that works. So right up here, you've got your launch angle, so you can pick what angle you want to fire it at, and that's going to be important for you to determine when we actually run these. So you want to make sure that you check and see where yours is going. On the end of the launch adapter, you simply slide your straw rocket right on the end. It fits perfectly. It's designed for these straws, so you don't have any problem there. And you can make adjustments however you need to. You don't ever have to pull this off. It's held on in place. Now, the next thing that you'll notice, if you look at this tube, it's got numbers on it. So these numbers indicate the centimeters of height that you're creating. So when you drag this up, okay, at the very top, there's a marking. So this one happens to be at 36 centimeters is where it's at. And what you do is you'll lift it up to a certain height, whatever you decide is the appropriate height, and you'll launch by dropping the tube. So give you a basic idea of how that works. We've got our straw jet that's set on our adapter. We've set a launch angle. I'm going to go at 45 degrees. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this up. In this case, I'm just going to go to, say, 20. And all you do is you drop it. And obviously, the straw jet goes shooting off to the side. So that's the basics of how you actually use the launcher. And you'll be looking to set your launch angle and your launch pressure to best work with your airfoils to get your straw jet to land in the proper landing area.